move my bag. Got too much crap at this table. I've claimed this table.
All righty. We can get everybody's attention. Okay, so good evening all. Thanks for coming out tonight. We've got four things on the agenda actually. First is if you do POTA or soda portable operation, we have a small 3 amp hour W1AST battery and charger we're raffling off for free. See easy if you need a ticket and the orange tickets. And we want to give it only to people who are actually going to use it. We actually raffled this off a year ago. Unfortunately, somebody won who didn't have any need for it, didn't have any use for it. And he called me a couple weeks ago and said, I'm going to give it back to you guys to re-raffle. So hence the POTA soda field operation. So if you don't have an orange ticket and you like a nice small portable rechargeable battery, see easy over there. Just like always, if we could have everybody turn off the ringers on their phones or turn their phones off, that'd be great. Just show some respect when we have our guest speaker come up and all. What I'd like to do is start with the roll call with name and QTH and what you might be doing this summer ham radio wise. So we're going to start with Ken.
I get the first one. Ken, 81KU in South Hampden.
And if you're a board member, say your position.
Yeah, board member, zero beat editor. And what might be doing this, some, I really have no idea. Hopefully finding some time for some operations.
Marv.
Marvin Turner, W0MET. The boat operations, working full time and 13 colonies, and hopefully later this fall putting up my remote station in Wisconsin at my 30 by 54 shed that should be done next week. So kind of looking forward to that. So we'll see.
Is it on a hill in Wisconsin?
It is on a 1,000-foot hill elevation. So, but a 50-foot tower on top of that, I think we'll be just fine. So.
And what's your elevation in Southampton?
253.
Higher than a lot of us.
Yeah.
Better than 92.
Go ahead, Tim.
Tim, KC1FRG, East Long Meadow. And we're going to get into the POTA and hunting and stuff.
That's right. You got a new 705 to play with.
Oh, yes, yes. Thing is amazing. I'll tell you.
Go ahead, Dwayne.
KC1 and 2B, Hampden, Connecticut. What I'll do this summer, I have no idea. I'll just follow everybody else's lead and see where I can fit in.
Kilo Charlie 1, Kilo Echo Zulu. Doing a lot of radio this summer, actually. Do a lot of work with Mount Tom, Amateur Repeater Association. We're going to have our field day at Blandford Fairgrounds. And you're all invited. So.
No, they need to come to the HCRA field day.
Also, very active with Springfield Fire Department and the Racy Surf Group out of Sullivan Fire Station EOC. And with the MEMA CERT confab that's coming together in Western Mass. Doing quite a bit.
Cool. John, you're up.
Yeah, John K with B1 in Hampton. Summertime, I'm hoping I can get forward, but still haven't bought a radio yet, so I'm still trying to figure out what to get.
Jürgen and everyone Hugh from Southwick. And well, hopefully I can put up another antenna and I'll find out it's storm. So maybe I can put another one up. If not, I will use DMR. You can work DX every night, every time of the day.
What you got to do is you got to put an electrical charge on that antenna when you're not using it.
Well, the bear that's always coming up, we have to play that.
Alan, AB1XW, I'm on the board for some reason. I I'm in Long Meadow, this summer, hoping to do some more POTA activations. I've done a couple in the past, they're a lot of fun. And I've also been tinkering around with, digital HF, not, well, a little bit of FD8, but other keyboard type modes to experiment with more.
Very Katie RV, I mostly work DX at home for my home station. Then try to get out and do a little, either try to do POTA or at least work a few stations for some of the parks. And that's what I plan on doing this summer. I got 291 under my belt of DX CC. That's already official. And I got the paperwork on that. I earned, I got 7 more USL cards that I worked recently. And once I get those, I'll have close to 300. If I get 2 more. That's it.
Then you gotta go back and do it all QRP, Larry. But then you gotta go back and do it QRP at 5 watts.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, once I work these 300.
Why there?
Hi, I'm Eric, in on QKL from Bushville, Florida. And I'm a full-time RVer and I hope to maybe start doing some POTA. I do stay at a lot of state and national parks, but trying to find the time to set up the incentives, so we'll have to see what happens.
Steve, they want to start, I do never here. And at the moment, activities here for, for radio, probably try to get some field in down that front back one. Yeah. I'm KC1SCW and West Springfield. Let's see what we can do this summer.
Hi, George, KC1B from Somers, Connecticut, currently the treasurer. Yeah, this summer, probably gonna be busy. Right now, the main thing I wanna get done is, second tower put up. I just took my HF antenna off, my tower, so I can put up a bigger 6-meter antenna. And I'm missing the HF already, so that's not good.
My name is Brad, KC1TYI. I'm relatively new to this. This summer, I'm looking to settle on an upgraded rate. I'm looking at the 7300 right now. I've been talking to a few people here tonight, which has been good. You know, getting good to get one-on-one contact on rigs. So I hope to get that going, and I'm also interested in powder soda down the road as well. So that's the direction I'm going.
Cool. Dave?
Hi, I'm Dave, KC1 OVR from Southampton. Summer, hopefully do some more POTA. I did my first activation, a couple weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, so. I'd like to get more into that for sure. We had another Lake George beginning of July for 2 weeks, and bringing my gear and gonna hit some parks out there maybe, and just have some fun with it. And 7300, I'm new at this too. That's what I got. It's easy.
Faye, Jill calling in Westfield. What am I not gonna do? So, Sunday morning, I shared a VHF, UHF nest with this guy. So the two of us take that on occasionally. Tuesday night nets when someone else isn't available. So I do that. Skyborn, hopefully not too much. Partially took over Eric's old job. You're welcome to come back anytime to do that. Hopefully not too much Skyborn. We could have a bad hurricane season and some real bad thunderstorms. So hopefully not too much of that. Working on my handout for ham exposition. Last year was 20 pages. This year probably closer to 60. I'm doing 2 classes. So, because I got too much crap in a paper bag to fit in 1 class. So, yeah, I'll be there for that. But plus working full time, taking care of the camper, keeping the wife happy. Trying to, yeah, I got plenty of stuff to do. John from Springfield, LNCD, I need an antenna. It's that simple.
Okay.
Easy.
I'm Easy, W1AST, I'm currently back on the board, VP. This summer, gosh, I got a handful of Coda and soda, well, maybe not soda, unless it's drivable. But I'll do a couple of photos in the area, Mount Greenlock is definitely on my list, and, hopefully, Maine, in the middle of July, and maybe I'll look at, Lake George also. But I gotta get my HF antenna up, it's not working favorable, and I definitely gotta get my UHF and VHF antenna that I've been doing since last year. So it's on my list for this year. Thanks a lot.
We miss you on the 10-meter net one day.
Maybe, I mean, so saying, you know, afford to do whatever, and you don't know. I'm looking forward to do some field day operation and eventually, some water.
You've got a new quota rig too to use that you
Yeah.
went in December, so.
Gary, AA one week from Southampton, a farm community. And I'll be doing some photos, some satellite work, putting up a new antenna. And waiting for KH1, if it ever gets here in my lifetime, to do some more of it, so,
Maybe they'll deliver it at the Ham Expo.
yeah, they're in hot demand.
Earl,
Oh, by the way, I have a 7300 for sale if you want to see me. Got multiple rings. It's a great radio, just got too many rings.
That's a problem?
oh, Gary, you need to talk to Brad, because Brad's looking to buy one. Earl,
I'm gonna bring. I'm 81 years old, so I've been playing when I come to the pool up to the drum right next to it. It's over at the market. I'm ready to go to 7300. Talk to them here. Putting up a one at work and on top right.
Everybody, W1TY, Matt and Williamsburg, it's awesome to see, I've been at a meeting in a long time, so it's awesome to see some familiar faces, but there's also a lot of people who probably just got for a long time, but I haven't seen it, so it's really good to be here. This summer, we're moving, so we're gonna be moving a couple towers and the station, so it's gonna be kind of a big deal for us, but hopefully it'll be back up by HF contest season again.
where are you moving to?
A mile up the road.
Ah.
But it's still kind of the same amount of work.
Close moves are a lot harder than far moves.
Exactly. So
Better elevation.
it is actually, yeah, a little bit better, a little farther up Petticoat Hill Road, so. And then, we're also gonna be working on putting together a proposal for Ruby's School in Charlemont, for a ham radio club. Some talks at, the contest, forum about, students and what they really want to see in a club, and so we're gonna try to put some of that stuff into action, and hopefully gets interested in Ruby's School.
Well, let us know how the club can help you.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate that.
Hey y'all, I'm Ruby. I don't have my license yet, but I'm hoping to get it this summer.
Marty, Whiskey One might be a problem, find out. Another prodigal son returning. I guess I'm gonna continue with my DX addiction. And, if Logbook in the world ever flips it,
Yeah.
I'll have 309. 290 something on the other one. So we'll see what happens, trying to get the last few,
Cool.
and,
We hear you're interested in climbing towers?
yeah, that was one of the things I forewarned you with. It has to do with exerting energy, causing impact in the earth. I don't want to do it. Not anymore. I'd be willing to help anybody join within reason.
Good. So talking about towers, Dave, WM1B is, looking to have somebody take his 30-foot tower down. He's got an HF antenna and a VHF antenna on top of that. Has not been able to find anybody to do so. He's willing to give it away free, for anybody that will come and take it down. He lives in East Long Meadow near Heritage Park. If you, are interested in doing that, or know a few people that are interested in doing that, please see me. I'll give you his contact information. He wants to get it done soon. Fortunately, he's suffering some memory issues and other stuff, so he's dissolved his ham station, sold most of his gear and the antennas and the tower, the last thing left. So if you have an interest in the towers and the antennas, and you want to take it down, please see me.
That includes the road, don't it?
Yeah, it includes a rotor. He might even throw in a 10-meter FM.
Wow.
Is that just a mast or actually like a tower?
No, it's got full.
Full tower.
Yeah, it's a Roland 25, yeah.
Okay.
If you're thinking about joining the ARRL, if you're not already a member, please do so through the club, okay? New members that join the league get, the club gets a $20 kickback from anybody that joins. And if you're renewing your ARRL membership, if you do so through the league, we get a $5 kickback.
Let me just check setting on Zoom. The fun use of technology always.
Look at this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I just want to make sure it was all from this, once I set the backup onto this. All right. So, where my screen go? All right, so what does ARRL do for me? About 1st of May, roughly, I started with the ARRL in Newington, Connecticut, an hour south of here. 15 minutes if you push a little bit. And I had this email come across probably about 6 months or so ago, and I saw it, and I kind of looked through it, and I saw half a dozen things in there of things I didn't realize the ARRL did. And so I then started looking at some of this as an employee of ARRL, and some of the things that they did shocked me. I had no idea, and I don't think they were necessarily always in this list either. So I thought it was quite interesting, and I think a lot of people with the controversy of, hey, they've raised my dues, I'm not getting a magazine now. A lot of people are, just lack of better saying, is pissed off about it, right? So they with all due frustration, and I can share the same perspective even as an employee now, but from I'm being a member as well. And so anyway, I'll get into that a little bit more, but I try to realize what I'm getting for my $59 a year and everything that they do. And even now as an employee, I find that to be even more important. So we maintain a very comprehensive website. There's a ton of stuff on the ARRL website of everything that you can find. One of those things I will tell you an insight today, that the Learn Center, those who, and I'll talk about that in just a second here, but that's basically the online courses that we provide. I will have that site back up hopefully by next Tuesday, up and running with a separate host that we're doing outside of the ARRL. So if you guys are into the Learning Center, that will be back up very soon, amidst of everything else that we have going on right now down there. And I'm sure you've seen the newsletters and stuff on that. But we still maintain the comprehensive website in the meantime. I mean, it's got the ARRL store on there. You've got all your news updates. You've got, other important information like Hamfest and contest logs, or contest schedules. So, I mean, there's a ton of information you can find on there as a member or a non-member, either one. So, that's, in itself, a lot of information that can be provided to you even as a non-member. Represents amateur radio governments, fighting a lot of the mini battles through, PCB1 with antenna towers and HOA associations from a number of years ago, FCC licensing and some of the other regulations that have come around that. ARRL is our voice, just similar to maybe the NRA is the only big major organization for gun owners. The ARRL is our only other organization. There's nobody else out there going to fight that for us. So we can appreciate having them, stand up and, David Minister going out and, talking to the FCC or going to, Washington, DC, whatever to, help with some of those and other lobbyists and people that we have out there. And we have all the section managers and area managers that can help bring some of these things to light as well from around the country, because obviously we're on the far East Coast. We don't always catch what's going on in central or western side of the world of the US. So develops and supports logbook of the world. Well, I'm sorry for those that's down right now. I think we can say, and I think we've seen in newsletters come out, I can safely say from my perspective as an employee that the information is still there. And it will get back up as soon as it can get back up. That's where I'm going to leave that one. But we do support Logbook of the World. It's free. It's used all around the country. Just all around the world. Yeah, thank you. All around the world. Obviously, hence the name, right? But it's a great program. If you don't do Logbook of the World, and maybe only log to, your local program like Hammer Radio Deluxe or QRZ, or maybe you go up to QRZ, then I would, probably try and push into Logbook of the World too, because when you start doing all your DX, who was doing the DXCC awards and all that, that's where that Logbook of the World will verify all that. And a lot of your DXers will do Logbook of the World. They don't do QRZ. So it's good to have that, and somebody's got to maintain that somewhere. Their lab. This is one of the things that shocked me as an employee. This is what I learned, is that I've got a 7300 or I've got an antenna, and it's like I'm having problems with them, having questions about it. I've got an analyzer that, in fact, I was having some issues with my FTDX10, and I took my little Daiwa analyzer in, and I said, it says I'm only getting 300 watts out of my analyzer or out of my amplifier. I should be getting 500 out of there. Is my analyzer correct? And my SWR meter, and it's like, yep, it's right on the spot. It's good. So if you bring your equipment down there, they'll take it in, test it, check it, things like that. They also do, a lot of the lab tests on new materials and new equipment that comes out. They'll do some of those things as well. Again, took major efforts to kill broadband over power line, kind of those government interference things up above. Host the IARU's International Secretariat, and 40-meter CW is still mostly free of broadcast stations as a result of the IARU and the ARRL. So just a few things there. They do have their different magazines, QEX, NCJ, the QST, the Get on the Air. Honestly, as even an extra class license member, Get on the Air is a great bring me back to basics magazine once in a while that you can read. And again, a lot of education from the Learn Center online. And Ham Radio does motivate a lot of people to pursue careers in electronics and do other things. And that QEX is great for if you're a hobbyist and want to get into some of those things. From my position as the assistant manager for education and learning, we've got a teachers institute coming in this next week. I'll get into that in just a second here, but I've had to get in to learn how to do a little bit more soldering because I didn't know much about it prior to this. So it's kind of interesting. So I'm doing more electronics myself. So I'm having to read up on it and trying to find some articles myself to do. And it's great to find some of those articles and some of those magazines and stuff to educate myself a little bit more on some of those things. Outgoing, incoming QSL service. I know we get a lot of QSL cards coming in there, and they do all the sorting, and they'll get a stack and send it off to Bulgaria or, Romania or, wherever you want to, Switzerland, wherever it needs to go. And they take care of all that. Who handles our cards here? Oh, yeah, that's right. He's not here tonight. So, he'll take care of those, and he'll send those down to them or drop them off, whatever he does. And so that's nice taking care of the QSL cards. So you don't have to worry about mailing that out to Romania yourself or wherever you're trying to send that card. They'll take care of all that for you. The volunteer monitoring program with Riley Hollingsworth, and they kind of have that in their back door that they use a little bit. Riley doesn't work out of our office or anything like that, but they do have some people out there that help monitor that, and they kind of give the reports to the ARRL for the magazine and stuff that you'll see in QST once in a while. For all of those volunteer examiners in there, they help manage that. They have a whole section of people under, the volunteer exam coordinator office upstairs on the second floor. All the people that do all the, coordination of testing and go through all the questioning reviews and all that. So they have a pool of people up there that take care of that, and that's a lot of work in itself. All the tests are in a lock and secured cage. Kind of interesting, right? So, Aries, so they have the MCOM side of things. I can tell you Johnson, I can't think of his first name off the top of my head that runs that, but anyway, they do a lot of stuff with the communications and training. And one thing I didn't know is that the ARRL offers, and this is more, it's not like they have an equipment, say, hey, we got field day coming up, we want to borrow some equipment, and we want to, have a radio and an antenna and a couple batteries, whatever available, or we need, we're going to run a bicycle event and we need 10 additional handhelds to use. So they have a thing called Ham Aid, and it's more about, hey, we've had some major tornadoes go through the Midwest recently, and we want to have some additional communication equipment out there. They will take they've got, I don't know, I'm going to say close to probably a dozen kits of basically throw them in a big Pelican case and, throw a 7300 in there or not, or one of the old Kenwoods or something like the 480s or 490s, and, a couple batteries and whatnot, and they'll ship out an antenna, and, they'll send it to that Midwest for all the tornadoes and help with disaster service and radios. And there's a couple of those kits also spread kind of throughout the southern United States, like down in Florida, maybe another one in Georgia or Alabama, somewhere in there. Some of the section managers down that part of the country keep them on hand. But they are a underutilized tool for sure, that from what I've kind of ascertained is not really used very much at all. So it's a brand new radio sitting there not getting used, which is unfortunate, but it's also the cost of, having to take and, bear that cost of shipping a container like that, call it 24 hours, 48 hours over to the Midwest or somewhere else, can be, hell, I've shipped boxes, that are 40 pounds, on ground, taking 5 or 6 days to get there and cost me $125. So, you're trying to ship this thing overnight and 40, 50 pounds later, it's quite expensive. So, but they will do that sort of thing if it's requested, but it has to come from the section manager. So, if we do have, a disaster around here at some point, it'd probably be easier for us to just run down there and grab that at that point. And then field day, just kind of help manage some of that, for preparing for disasters, like we'll, and test our equipment, make sure it's all working in just a few weeks here. Maybe a little more smaller to read, but they've been a tireless advocate for resource to help protect the rights of hams to install and operate antenna systems. The most recent favorable New Jersey Supreme Court decision is an excellent example of bringing these resources to bear for the general good of our service. Without these efforts, our capabilities would be severely diminished in many municipalities. So I'm not familiar with that case directly myself, even though it may be closer to our region here, but just, kind of one of those examples again. Both the ARRL and IARU Region 2 recognized by CITL as partners in furthering the work on telecommunication in the Americas. Again, I'm not really familiar with that part of it either. Anybody else know much about CITL? Okay. We do send a representative to the ITU study group, and work with the FAA as well, and keeping amateur towers from being classified and needing to be marked or labeled as well, or lighted, so one of those things that they do. RFI mitigation, somewhere I know we have a guy that does an RFI here. They can help you out with some of those things, and they'll test new products, existing products, check your product out and say, hey, yeah, you've got some RFI coming from this, from this device, or whatever it may be. So, they will do that work. They've got some actually pretty smart guys in there. I looked at applying for one of those positions. I'm glad I didn't, because I would have been out of my league, I promise you. Of course, we sponsor lots of different contests, which help train operators to efficiently use their rigs as well. They'll do, Ham Expo. They just did a Hamvention for Mini Ham Fest. They've got, all the different regions they'll do. I think they just went out and did CPAC, which is the, Pacific Northwest area as well.
There will be a representation.
Yep, there'll be a representation of Ham Expo. Yep, for sure. A lot of grants. So developmental program, which is where my funding comes from Teacher Institute, the developmental side of the ARRL will, I think, give away around $12,000 to $15,000 scholarships a year to young hams trying to go to school, going to education, that are, going to further education at secondary college of some sort that, wants to focus on a, electronic, or some type of computer, degree of some sort. So, they will help with some of that. So that's nice that they have the ability to, that's where some of your funds go to help with some of those things. And then, this says currently levels about 80 students a year. Maybe it's 80 times. I thought it was around 1,200, about $1,000 to $1,200. Yeah, $1,000 to $1,200 per student, but that says 80, but I didn't think it was quite that many, but I could be wrong. I have to verify that with my Christine down there in the office, because I don't think she told me it was that many the other day. Again, protecting our radio spectrum, and obtained international traffic and arms regulations exemptions for AMSAT radio for amateur satellite corporations. They got a number of high quality books. You go into their bookstore or go online. I mean, they've got some phenomenally written books down there, the handbooks, the ground books, a lot of assistance from other people that may be in YouTube, or, got like the Dave Kesslers of the world, who have been in ham radio for a long time, the Gordon West, all those guys that we all very well know, that help write some of those and provide, information and reference material for those books. But they are, if you don't have an ARRL handbook or an antenna book of some sort, I would highly recommend going online and getting one of those books for your reference. They've been handy for me throughout my amateur career, and learning and referring to them. As much as there is information online, sometimes it's nice to go back to the old fashioned hard copy book, and I've got to pull out the glasses to read the material sometimes a little bit now, but still we can at least read it. Again, the publishes the material still for the 4 periodicals. Again, more online. They're a free service to everybody. If you want additional, you got to pay for the additional. But I found out the other day, I want to say it was either like QEX had maybe 2,000 subscribers. I mean, there's not a lot of people out there, so it's hard to publish that magazine. I think for the amount of paper cost that has increased nowadays, that it's hard to publish just a few magazines like that, because obviously your discounts and volume come from volume, right? So that's where it really matters. But I'm sure there was several tens of thousands for QST. Where every member almost got that, and now I don't know how many there is being produced with just the $25 extra additional a month. But I'll make my argument about that real quick, is that what it costs us for a cup of coffee is $5. You take $25 for a year, take that times 12 magazines, a little over about $2 a magazine, right? So it's still cheaper than a cup of coffee most of the time. So it's not a terrible addition, but if you're on a limited budget income, I can understand that as well. And it does make it a little tougher. I just read the online version myself. Maintains a network of volunteers in each section. Obviously, again, the section managers, with helping out with the technical questions, and they've got the technical specialist and things like that. I think I was technical specialist out in Tennessee, and I think I've kind of been roped back into the technical specialist here with Ray over in the New England area here as well. But they have people who are on staff who help out with making sure you got the special service clubs. They got people who are the scheduling the Ham Fest from a local event, and hey, does ARRL want to attend or sponsor that sort of thing. So there's people working behind the scenes with all of that to make those things happen across the board. ARRL places people on the committees which set global standards for RFI emissions. Again, assist amateurs with having solar power RFI issues and contacting the offending companies. Sometimes even your local electrical power supply companies, you may have a transformer or something in the nearby area that it could be having interference with your house or your shed or your shack somewhere. And they can help with some of those things as well. You just got to reach out to them and ask them, how you go about doing that. And I can't really tell you that myself directly. Obviously get a lot of e-newsletters. Aries produces one. They have a weekly newsletter they just put out about additional information as well. If you do subscribe to the contest, I think there's probably around 12 to 15 different newsletters you can subscribe to, and they have a huge editorial staff that takes care of all this. And it is a lot of work to go into those publications, to producing them, producing the podcast, producing the newsletters each week. It does take a lot of time and people to be able to do that. So a few other items is, again, things about the website that you can find and check for, or, any like updates, product reviews. You can get your audio news from there. And, even things like The Doctor Is In, which is still around and they still do, which is good as well. The W1A bulletins. How many people have been down to W1AW and saw it? Just a handful. Wow. If you have not gotten down to W1AW, again, it's about 50 minutes if you press a little hard, about an hour otherwise. It's a beautiful building. It's a great place. It's ran by Joe inside there. And they have phenomenal. I mean, it is probably one of the top-notch studios. I mean, I think Tim Duffy, with DX Engineering probably has a much better place, but I think the money's there too. So if you've got, was it K3LR? Yeah. So, I mean, he's got the whole antenna farm out there in, Pennsylvania, Ohio area and everything. So, I mean, if you ever seen a review of his studio and everything.
He's gonna be running mini content university Friday.
Oh, really? So I'm sure he might give a little bit demo of that, maybe potentially or something. So, yeah. So if you get a chance to see that, it's phenomenal. But W1AW has a great setup up there. They've got a great antenna farm of 3 towers themselves. A lot of great radios inside there. Yaesu, ICOM, Kenwood. And they've got a lot of different things of weather maps and all their bulletins and how they run everything. And they will tell you how all of it works and how they produced all that behind the scenes. So, and usually during field day, they always put out the W1AW announcement bulletin. So, those sort of things that they'll do, but it takes a person to staff that thing from, 8 a.m. in the morning till midnight for all the bulletins being produced. So, you got to pay for that staffing somehow as well. As much as some of that is mostly automated, but you still have somebody behind the scenes to help push a button, just like in a kind of a remote radio station. A lot of the section managers get, reimbursed for some of their travel and time, etc. So, they've got division directors and stuff, that deal with email and newsletters as well. So you got, have people take care of some of those things. Of course, those section managers will go visit clubs and be at local Hamfest and find local people to help with like some of the technical specials things, answer questions, try and get new membership and get new people interested. If you ever have any questions about, ARRL, just feel free to reach down there and call them. I mean, they've got a great staff. As much as I would say I'm an employee of them, and I say that maybe from a very biased standpoint, that really is a good group of folks that are down there. And it's been quite interesting to be a part of that group and be there. Again, you'll find them not only in Newington, Connecticut, but the Ham Expo. Stop by one of their booths. There's always a ton of information there, and you'll find more about that. One of the last thing I'm going to mention before that I spoke very briefly about was we talked about the developmental side, and there was something I didn't even think about ever, but I know some people are life members and others, just pay their yearly dues, or some may pay 2 or 3 years in advance. But there is a lot of people, thousands of people that will donate a large sum of money to the ARRL every year to continue to see, promote, ensure, and make the ARRL Foundation and the ARRL, the continuing legacy of radio, continue to move forward. in many different directions. And one of that is, you know, a lot of people donate to the Teachers Institute or the Education Learning section. Again, what's I'm the assistant manager of, but you know, people even have the ability to leave a legacy and donate their, you know, if they don't have kids or they want, you know, $10,000 or $500,000 or something, go to, you know, to the ARRL as like a nonprofit, which it is a 501c3, you know, tax write-off on 9 yards. People do that. And I was really shocked by that there are people that give a large sum of money and, you know, they appreciate it. And it's used for one of the instances, as I'm going to give here, is that next week, starting on Monday morning, we have 9 teachers from around the country coming to Newington, Connecticut for 5 days. And during that time, we will give them, you know, a number of devices, a couple of radios. Next week's not ARRL, we'll give them ARRL antennas, but that's next week. We've got some, they call them Elegoo boards. They're kind of like Arduinos, basically, a version of Arduino boards, if I can say that twice. And what they do is they basically will put like barometric sensors in there, temperature sensors. They'll do some LEDs. They'll have to do some soldering, and you know, they will get some results based off that. They'll use the radios. They use some APRS. They'll have to program some radios. So we basically find a way to bring the teachers to Connecticut, teach them a week-long session of ham radio. They then take that back to their classroom next fall and hopefully start to introduce ham radio to teachers and students. And there are some great teachers. Now, this class coming back next week is actually their second session. So there's 3 sessions called Teachers Institute 1, 2, and 3. And next week is the people who came last fall or last summer are coming back for more the more advanced level. So call it technician, general, and extra class. So they're coming back for the general class of what we teach them. And since I've been there in a month, we've trained, or I should say licensed, about 12 to 18 students. I think we tested around 18, and I think maybe only 12 or 14, something like that, actually passed. But we do online testing with classes. So teachers will say, hey, students, you want to go in and get your ham radio license? You know, they'll help the teacher will help them get their ham radio license, teach them throughout the class. And they're applying things like APRS using geography. We'll do a weather balloon this summer with the TI3 or extra level students. The teachers are coming back that have gone through classes 1 and 2. We'll bring them back and they'll do a weather balloon. And of course, they'll know what the parts they need. They'll get a whole list of all those devices they need for that. And they'll figure out how to put that balloon up, and we'll track it across however far that balloon will go. So again, your teaching students about the geography and the atmosphere and layers and helium and gases and science. And so we're always trying to really gear these towards science and physics teachers, or maybe they have STEM teachers. I think one of the big pushes from the ARRL is over the next year or so, or a couple of years, is actually trying to get more STEM education pushed. And that's one reason they brought me on board, is to be able to get more STEM education pushed into the classrooms and get more people informative about ham radio and how you can build an electronic career using ham radio and so many different factors that we have available to us. And some of these kids are becoming really like hackers. And in fact, there was at the Hampden, Everton, which is a guy out of Long Island, really great teacher, phenomenal guy. He had his kids take a battery with a paper clip, and they put paper clips on each end of the battery and build like take a magnetic wire, put it in the middle, make like a little magnetic coil out of it, let it spin. And one student got in there, got creative, made it look like a cat, whole 9 yards, and it was sitting on this thing and spinning, you know. So I mean, the kids can become really creative off of that. So it's great to introduce them, get them off the dumb phones and their thumbing and texting, and get them into the world of science and ham radio and what it can really do for them. So it's a good investment. It's a lot going on that's really good. And looking forward to really promoting that and making that even greater. So, I mean, that's just a lot of the things that ARRL does, and, you know, where some of your money and things that, you know, go. But You know, it's one of those interesting things I told Larry. I said, there's something that maybe I can present to the group one day, kind of things that what the ARRL does that some of you may not recognize or realize that what it does. So anybody learn something new out of this the ARRL does that didn't know before? What type of things? I'm just out of curiosity.
Well, teachers institute, I didn't know they had that.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, are we still able to get, email addresses to?
I know we're still doing email, the ARRL.net. I just don't know if that service is up right now. I've been doing a lot of the IT stuff for them instead of the teachers' education side. But I haven't been involved that deep to really know if that's back up yet or not. So I wouldn't rely on that exactly right at the moment still. But I think it is, it will come back. I'm not sure whether it's up or not. I don't think it is. I think some of them I've seen it, I've sent out to, they've come back failed. So that's probably just part of us being shut down. But anybody else got anything kind of they learned off cam? I'm just kind of curious, Dave. It's actually, so there's a couple things. So all the teachers coming this next week are already licensed. They were probably licensed last summer, last fall. We typically will host a licensing session, a VE exam session by end of the week for them if they aren't. So we've given them books and say, go study, go become licensed, because we can't give you a handheld. We can't give you some of this other stuff until they become licensed. So I would say almost 100% of the teachers, it may be 95% of them, maybe one or two that haven't gotten licensed, but most of them have went and become licensed amateur radio operators through this process. So yeah, it's really good from that standpoint. Like I said, it's really cool to see the kids get excited that they're passing their test and some of the things that we've seen a couple of videos where they've done things in the classroom. And it's like, wow, they were like, I mean, we even bought them. So how many of you guys have heard about the Quashang UV5R radio? That's kind of a hackable radio. We're giving, I mean, it cost us $15 for it. I mean, the teachers end up with like $1,000 to $1,500 worth of stuff when all said and done, I think. But it's one of those things we give them that radio to the teacher and say, take it back to your classroom, let the kids play with it, let them figure it out. And if they can hack into it, and that drives, the kids thinking and get them going. So we're just, when they see things like the DigiRig, they can take a handheld and plug the DigiRig into it and send out APRS messages or get a WinLink message or something out. I mean, it's pretty cool. So yeah, it's good stuff. So, well, very good. Well, thank you guys. Cool. Thank you. Absolutely. Lights.
Ken, can you pull the battery and charger out of the bag, please? The bag right in front. Easy, you have the ticket? No, I don't want them. I want. Put them in his hat and have Housewife wife pull a ticket.
Can you get a ticket?
Oh,
Yeah, I need a ticket.
all right. Hang on. All right.
Pull a rabbit on my hat.
Oh, tickets.
So if you're gonna be doing portable work or photo or soda, field work, you're welcome to a ticket. If you're not, then a little battery like this isn't gonna do you much good. If you are.
That won't work for 1.5 kW amplifier.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna ask Easy's wife to, or Josue's wife to pick a ticket. I forgot your name.
Lucky number is 887 042.
So who won it? Come and get it, Ruby. Come and get it.
Just committed battery.
Come on.
Come on, get up here.
You don't want it.
Just nervous.
I won't bite, I promise. Get the battery here, our charger's in the box.
Thank you so much.
All righty, moving right along here. If you like the coffee and donuts, thanks, Smitty. Okay. For those that don't know, and everybody should know by now, because I think we've got 88 or 89 or 90 people signed up for the groups.io. If you have any issues, any questions, anything going on, any announcements, anything for sale, post it up there. It goes out to the whole club. That's what we're using these days. We're not using the AMKTH. It works out great because there's polls up there, all sorts of things. You can get an email from it, or you can log on, you can see what's going on. Marv announced his antenna project. And 3 volunteers.
3 people show up.
Last Saturday, which is kind of a disappointing because we have 131 members in the club. So I'm hoping that when he calls, when he posts looking for more help to help finish with his antenna, we'll get more than 3 volunteers.
Especially if anybody has experience with a gap tightened antenna or
Or-
another vertical dipole.
Yeah.
I think that-
Like I say, me and Dave are gonna try and take it back down tomorrow morning if we can, around 8:30. And just try and figure out how to get this thing even down to, I mean, heck, if I can get it 7 to 1, I'd be happy to more than 14, 14 to 1 it is now, so. Yeah, I'm sure some wires wrong or something. Maybe we can get another set of eyes on it to look at this instructional, 14-page instructional manual. And then get it back up a little bit. It does take about 3 people to get it up and down, so. If you can make 8:30, my address is in the group bio stuff. If not, can come up and see me. I'll give you my address this evening. But we'll try and do about 8:30 tomorrow morning again, if you don't mind coming over to help with a little bit. And like I said, it shouldn't take more than an hour or 2, I think, because like I said, it's all put together, it's all standing, it's upright, but we just got to figure out how to get it tuned and get the counterpoise kind of squared away with a little bit. I need a little bit of tightening on the wire there, so it takes more than one person to do that, so.
So anyway,
Thank
so
you.
hopefully we'll get more than 2 or 3 people to show up out of the 131 members. If you haven't been active that much in the club, besides the groups.io, we have an HCRA Facebook page too. You're welcome to read and post and do everything. 10-meter net is going on for till the end of the month.
Yeah.
Okay. 28,375, 7 p.m. every Monday night. Everybody is welcome. You don't have to be a club member to join in. I know I stuck my foot in my mouth and I'm net control on Monday, but and I'll try to check in from the south and the following 2 Mondays. Zero Beats on vacation until June, until September, but anybody who has anything, submit to Ken. What's your email, Ken?
KD1KU@yahoo.com.
Easy enough to remember. Items for sale, articles, help needed, whatever you may want. The last issue was 35 pages, like a small book.
It's gonna be bigger than QST.
There you go. Anyways, Ken spent a lot of time working on it and can't get there without contributions and without your help, so do that. For those of you that don't know, the Franklin County Amateur Radio Club, FCARC, is struggling to stay alive. A bunch of us from the board were up at their meeting in mid-May, was it?
Yeah.
And those that I've been a member for a number of years, but a few people have joined. If you can afford the $15, they really need the support. They're struggling to survive. We're helping. The HCRA is helping them in any way we can, as are myself as affiliate club coordinator and Ray as section manager. So you can go to fcarc.org, I believe, or just look up Franklin County. If you can afford the $15, they really need the help. And do
And
that.
two other things on that note, anybody who's interested in emergency communication or public event communication really should join FCARC, because they do a lot more of it than we do.
Right, and they have, I think, 3 events coming up
For as small a club as they are very, very active with emergency communication.
So if you're looking to participate in MCOM stuff, public service stuff, seek out FCARC, just 40 miles north of us. And they really need the help.
The other thing I wanted to mention is our HCRA field day is actually a joint field day with FCARC. So we will hopefully see some of their members coming down and make them feel welcome.
Yeah. Any other announcements or anything else going on? The club, other clubs, other things going on? Go ahead. Go ahead.
With my husband's permission, I want to thank everybody here who have provided me with education on ham radio and more importantly, friendship. I have been married to him on Sunday, it'll be 33 years, and every year, with the exception of this one, I will be going to a field day event. So I want to thank everybody for providing Larry with friendship and guidance, as well as accepting me, tagging along to each event and helping where I can. So I really appreciate it.
Okay, so that ends tonight's meeting. Want to wish everybody a safe drive home. It's raining outside now. Have a great field day. Listen for, like I said, W1AST 1B, I think. Georgia, GA. Have a great field day. Have a great summer, and be active with radio. Post some things on the group. Post some things on Facebook, and have a great summer.
One last quick thing, hold on. I've only been here 6 months and I didn't say nothing for it on this, but I think we all should give Larry a round of applause for all his service as the president. I've only been here 6 months, but I appreciate everything you've done and the help you've given me as a new member to this club, and appreciate your time as president. I just came from a president of the previous club. I know what a big role that is and how much work and time and dedication it takes. So thank you for everything you do.